الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة ومن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر وذكر الله كثيرا صدق الله العظيم. Alhamdulillah, my respected brothers and elders, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us Muslim and has made us from the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And today, this is the month of Rabiul Awwal, and it has a great significance with the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is the month in which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was born, and this is also the month in which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passed away. So, very important that this month, this Islamic month Rabiul Awwal, has a great significance to the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So in this month especially, we should try and study the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We should try and study the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now Nabi sallallahu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ, and for you in the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is a perfect example. In all aspects of life, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is an example for us. From the moment we are born to the moment we die, we believe this well, we have Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as an example for us. He came to this world and he taught us how to live from the day we are born till the day we die. From even the basic things, from the time we wake up in the morning till the time we go to sleep, we have an example. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has taught us each and every single thing. And currently we are in a certain nationwide lockdown. So we take a look at the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he taught us to always be optimistic, never be pessimistic, never look down, always look at the good side of things. We should always be happy and accept that whatever has come is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whatever is written for us it will definitely come to us, and what is not written for us will never afflict us. So when we study the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, will increase our love for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and it also will teach us to be more optimistic, because we find the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam faced many trials and tribulations throughout his entire life. Even from before he was born, it was difficult. Even before the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was born, his father Hazrat Abdullah passed away. At the age of 6, his mother has passed away. So he was born, he came into this world as an orphan, and at the mere age of 6, both his parents has passed away. So he has to grow up without his father, he has to grow up without his mother. And at the age of 8, he was placed under the care of his grandfather Abdul Muttalib. But at the age of 8, also his grandfather passes away. Abdul Muttalib, he also passes away. Then after this, he was taken into the care by his uncle Abu Talib, and like this he grows up. So from the young age, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to go through many difficulties, and he had to endure many hardships. And then when he received prophethood from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the age of 40, when he was meditating in the cave, Angel Jibreel alayhi salam, he came to him and he says to him, Iqra, read. And then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, Ma ana biqari, I do not have the ability to read, I am unlettered. So Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, he grabs him and he squeezes him very tightly, and this is done 3 times. And he really squeezes him each time and he tells him to read. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, each time he gives the same response. And after 3 times he reads, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, this surah that is revealed, very famous. So there was ulama that mentioned what was the reason for Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam tightly grabbing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and squeezing him 3 times. The ulama they say this is a hint that in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have to undergo 3 very great difficulties, 3 hardships. The first of these would be the boycott of the Quraysh. The second of which would be the hijrah, the migration from Makkah to Medina, and thirdly would be the Battle of Uhud. So what happened in the battle in the boycott of the when the Nabi and his family were boycotted in the valley of the gorge of Abu Talib. When Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam began to propagate, he was known as Sadiq al-Amin, the honest, the trustworthy. But as soon as he began to propagate, invite towards Allah, all the people, they turned against him. And constantly they were trying to do anything to try and stop Nabi Sallallahu from propagating the truth through the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this did not deter Nabi Sallallahu from propagating to Allah. He continues to propagate, and slowly the numbers of the Muslims begin to increase. But the disbelievers, they did not like this. The Nabi Sallallahu influence is growing, and the Muslims are growing in larger number. So after a few years in Makkah, Nabi Sallallahu has begun to propagate. After a few years, there's approximately the 8th year prophethood, and the Quraysh, they gathered together, and some of them even gave the opinion to assassinate, to kill Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But they knew this would not be easy, because Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes from a great family, and the family members, even the family leaders, even though they were non-Muslim, they would not accept this as well. So all the other Quraysh leaders, they got together, and they signed a contract that we would boycott Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family until they surrendered Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to us. So they got together and they all signed this document that no people would have any transactions with the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nobody would talk to them. Nobody would marry into them. So these people were completely boycotted, and they were isolated from the rest of the community. and this document was approximately signed on the first year of the 7th year. So on the 7th year, after Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam began to propagate towards Allah, and he received revelation. And this lasted for entire 3 years. So this was a very, very difficult time, because these people, they had no way, no food was coming into them. They had just barely to smuggle any food inside. So in terms of health, was very poor. Socially, they could not socialize with anyone. So they were completely boycotted from the rest of the, rest of the world, rest of the people. So it became like somewhat of a natural prison. These people were inside a natural prison, and they could not even leave. And even everyone tried to leave, or they would try to get out, they were beaten mercilessly. And if he asked for anything, he was refused. Straightforward, he was refused. So this is a very difficult time for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I think it was approximately this time that his uncle Abu Talib, who was a great support for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he also passes away. It was during this time or after this boycott, and also he was a physical support. And after this, his wife Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anha, who was an emotional support for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Shortly after this, she also passes away. So Nabi Sallallahu is made to go undertake many difficulties, and he has to endure many hardships one after another. But Nabi Sallallahu endures these hardships, and he was always looking positively. He has the reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he never gets down. And another point to mention, whenever Nabi Sallallahu would feel a bit down, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reveal verses of the Quran to console Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And on one place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, وَكُلًّا نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الرُّسُلِ لِنُثَبِّتَ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ. All these, the qisas, the stories of the Anbiya alayhi salam that we are mentioning, these are there to console Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So also when we study the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we can take lessons, and you can help us in our lifestyle to live a more positive, live a more healthy lifestyle, and have the right approach to be more optimistic about all these trials and tribulations and difficult times that we're in, and we look at it with more positive, healthy attitude. So after this, the valley of the boycott, he finally finishes, because some ants, there's a scroll that was hung up on the Kaaba. Some ants came and they ate away at the scroll, and this boycott finished after approximately 3 years. Then after this, because the kuffar, then after this they attempted to assassinate Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to migrate from Makkah to Medina. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam now he has to leave his hometown, and he's been exiled from his own hometown. And this was very difficult for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He has to leave the house of Allah, the Kaaba, the first house built by Ibrahim alayhi salam for worship. And he has to leave this. And even as Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was leaving Makkah to Medina, he was saying, I would not have left you had these people, had they not exiled me, had they not kicked me out, I would never have left. And like this, Nabi Sallallahu is very saddening. He has to leave, he has to migrate from Makkah to Medina, and even his journey of migration, he has to undertake when the kuffar, the non-believers, they set a bounty upon the head of Rasulullah Sallallahu, and the people are still trying to search for Nabi Sallallahu throughout this journey. So Nabi Sallallahu migrates from Makkah to Medina, and the journey takes approximately 2 weeks. Then the third great difficulty Nabi Sallallahu had to go through at the Battle of Uhud, when the Battle of Uhud took place, because of command of Rasulullah was broken, then the help of Allah was uplifted, and the Muslims suffered a very heavy loss, and in which many Muslims were martyred. So this was also very painful and very hard for Rasulullah. But we take a look, Nabi Sallallahu was always optimistic, he was always smiling, and he would carry on inviting towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He would never say anything negative. He'd always look at everything in a positive attitude, and he would continue to propagate towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these difficulties that come, Nabi Sallallahu mentioned one hadith in this meaning, أَشَدُّ النَّاسِ بَلَاءً فَلَمْ تَلْ that the people that will undergo the most difficulties are the Anbiya alayhi salam. Then the people that resemble the Anbiya alayhi salam the most, then the people that resemble those people the most. So the most difficulties anyone had to endure was Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Anas radiallahu, he mentions one hadith, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لقد أخفت في الله وما يخاف أحد ولقد أوذيت في الله ما لم يؤذى أحد ولقد أتت علي 30 من بين يوم وليلة وما لي ولبلال طعام يأكله ذو كبد إلا شيء يباليه بلال رواه الترمذي. So Anas radiallahu, he mentions in one narration, and Nabi sallallahu he mentions that I have been made to undergo such hardships in the path cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that no person has meant to go under such hardships as I have. The scholars they mention, if all the Anbiya alayhi salam, if the difficulty of their difficulty was to be placed on one side, and the difficulty of Rasulullah sallallahu was to be placed on one side, the difficulty Nabi sallallahu had to endure, this would outweigh all the difficulties of the Anbiya alayhi salam. So Nabi sallallahu had to live through many difficulties, and he had to endure many hardships, many tests and trials from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests a person according to his faith. Because the believers, according to our reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests the believers. Obviously, because Nabi sallallahu had such reliance on Allah, and his iman and conviction was so strong, this why Nabi sallallahu was to be made to undergo such hardships, and this was also to raise the person's rank. So similarly, according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, Alif Lam Mim, أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Do the people, do the believers think that they will be left alone and they will not be tried and tested after they have brought iman? وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ فَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. Verily, most certainly we have tested those before them, and we have to make them undergo tests and tribulations. So we shall test those and see who are truthful in their faith, and we shall see those who are not truthful in their faith. So we will also be made to go undergo trials and tests from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this time we have to look at these tests with a positive attitude, with the right attitude, and know that everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He certainly mentions that the mu'min is the one, عَجْبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ. Astonishing is the matter of the believer. Everything that happens to him is good for him. If anything good happens to him, he remembers Allah, he makes shukr. He is grateful to Allah. And if anything apparently bad does happen to him, he makes patience, he exercises patience, and he turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So at all times we should need to turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how will we know when we are going through a difficult time? How would we know, we assess that this is a test from Allah, or whether it's like a punishment? Scholars they say that if you are doing good deeds, then we should know that this test is from Allah. If you are doing good deeds, then we should know that this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if a person we are not doing good deeds, then no, this is not a test-wise form of punishment. That very important that we need to turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So at all times we need to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And currently, because we're in a lockdown, obviously we cannot go to the masjid, but we shouldn't be depressed that we start complaining that we can't go to the masjid because of government law, we're not allowed to attend the masjid for congregational prayers. But we need to maximize and utilize the time that we have at home and make most out of it and make it more productive. So now a lot of people, we have time at home, So we need to make this time we have at home more productive. We can use this time. We should have set targets and aims for ourselves and objectives. That okay, this time I have till the lockdown ends. I have this much time every day. I need to work on my Quran. I can read a certain portion of Quran every day. This was something that we can do. Like I was saying, we need to study the lifestyle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have many books regarding the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some of them are very famous. You have the Seer Nectar, the Rahiq al-Makhtoum. It's only one volume book, a very famous book. I mean, we can take out some time to read a portion of the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam daily, and this will increase our love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it will also help us through these difficult times. So when you look at the life of Rasulullah, playing how much difficulty Nabi Sallallahu had to endure, and it will become easy for us to also go through, undertake, to live and to bear and go undertake the past these difficult times. Then even other aspects of deen, maybe we can learn one hadith a day. Like this, we can learn some portion of the Quran, we can memorize some surahs from the Quran. If a person only know the last 10, last 20 surahs, then you can take out time, maybe every day or every couple of days, we can learn another surah of the Quran. So there's many things that we can do. Then also there's a time, we have a lot of time with our family at the moment. So because many of the people are at home, normally at this often we don't usually get this much time with our family, our brothers and sisters. So we need to maintain our family ties as well. One quality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that he would stress on the importance of maintaining family ties with one's family. So we need to maintain the family ties. We can sit down with our family members and we can do ta'aleem. We can sit down and learn and teach about the Quran, learn about Deen. So we need to utilize and maximize this time that we have and make it more productive, even in the lockdown or at home. As may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me and all of you brothers and sisters that are listening the ability to act upon whatever has been said and keep a positive attitude and make it easy for us during these difficult times. Ameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.